Hello amazing people, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If it is your first time here, hi, I'm Mahtilda, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back to watch my videos. So for today's video, I'll be sharing with you guys how much it costs for you to be an international student living here in the UK. If you're planning on coming over to the UK for a master's program, or if you already arrived here in the UK and you're trying to figure out how much to allocate to different things such as groceries, transportation, your rent, and so many other things, this video is definitely going to be of use because I'll be giving you guys from my personal expenses how much I spend on average each month. Yeah, because some months we spend higher, some months we spend lower. So yes, I'll be giving you guys an average on how much I spend. If this is the kind of content you like, please feel free to give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you're not yet subscribed, and definitely turn on your post notification bell so I get notified whenever I post a video. And without further ado, let's get right into the video. The first thing I'll be talking about, like, this is where almost all my money goes to, you guys, it is rent. I know rent here in Leicester is not so pricey compared to other cities like London. Like, London is very expensive, because when you hear some prices and you see the house they give them in London, you're like, really, for this price? So yes, Leicester is not so bad. For my previous accommodation, I used to stay in a student accommodation. I was paying £640 every month, and every week I was paying £160 every week. Guys, that was expensive. I really did not have a choice because I had limited time to look for accommodation, and I didn't want to be stranded when I arrived here in the UK, so I needed to get a place immediately. Also, you can check for cheaper options because there are definitely cheaper options. You can go for shared accommodation. I think the higher the number of people in the accommodation, the lower the price. There are shared accommodations where you can see for £70 per week or £80 per week. So yes, you can definitely check for them. I also made a video talking about how to go about your accommodation. I'll be leaving the link on the screen, so make sure you check it out. Another reason why I decided to go for that particular accommodation was because it was closer to school. I mean, it was a trackable distance, and I figured since it's so close to school, I wouldn't have to spend much on transportation. But I mean, the pandemic had other plans because I didn't go to school, as frequent as I thought I would. So yeah, these are the things you need to check. Also, the accommodation was bills inclusive, so I didn't have to pay for water, light, electricity, heater, all those other extra house bills. I didn't have to pay for them because it was already covered with my rent. So yeah, that is how much I spent for my accommodation. The next thing I spend my money on is transportation. When it comes to transportation, how I move around, most of the time, guys, let me just be sincere with people, most of the time I just walk. Like, if it's a 20 minutes distance or 25 minutes distance, I walk. I mean, I see it as a form of exercise, and I hope you also see it as a form of exercise. So I just walk to the place. The only time when I use Uber are days whenever I'm going late for work. Like, those days when you wake up late for work and you figure out that if you use the bus, you're definitely going to be extra late. So I just use Uber on those days. And another time when I use Uber is whenever I go for like grocery shopping. Because guys, I like to buy my things in bulk. So whenever I go for grocery shopping and I'm done buying and I realize that I cannot carry all this load and be walking, I just save the stress and just order Uber. So these are like the frequent times I use Uber. Apart from that, any other thing, I usually just walk, or on normal days when I don't want to walk, I just take the bus. Like, guys, the bus is actually very expensive. You will see the short distance and the bus will charge you £1 something. Like, why? So when it comes to transportation, I spend about £30 to £40 every month. When I initially arrived in the UK, I was spending about £50 for transportation because I didn't know my way around. I wasn't familiar with my surroundings, so I was using more of Uber to go to places. But now that I have arrived, now that I know my way around, I spend less than £50 every month. So now I spend about £30 to £40 every month for transportation. Now that we know how much I spend on transportation, the next thing I spend my money on is mobile data. Initially, I was spending about £15 for data, and that usually gave me like 15 gigabytes. Yes, 15 gigabytes. I use GigaB, by the way. So yes, that usually gave me like 15 gigabytes. But I realized that 15 gig was too much because most places had Wi-Fi. My accommodation had Wi-Fi. Just different places had Wi-Fi. Even when I go to visit my friends, the accommodations have Wi-Fi. So 15 gigabyte was just too much, and I decided to reduce my data plan and go for the one of £10 for 10 gigabytes. And I think that's perfect for me since it also comes with unlimited calls, unlimited data. And yeah, so I use £10 when it comes to mobile data. In my current accommodation, that's where I'm staying right now, the bills are not part of the rent, so the rent is separate and we have to cater for the bills ourselves. When it comes to bills, we pay like £20 for Wi-Fi every month, and that's like £10. We split the bills into two, £10 each. For water bills, we pay about £26 and we split that again into two, that is £13 each when it comes to water bills. So groceries is something else I spend my money on. When it comes to normal groceries, like the things I can get from Lidl, Asda, Tesco, I spend about £50 for groceries. Guys, I know that snacks and juice is what finishes my money in that grocery Lidl place. So yeah, that's how much I spend when it comes to grocery shopping. Like I said earlier on, I like to buy things in bulk, so I buy like my things in bulk. But for things such as bread, milk, and egg that expires like every week, I have to get them frequently. So yeah, that's how much I spend for groceries when it comes to like things I can get from Lidl. But whenever I have to go to like African store to get things I cannot get to Lidl, things like ice fish, indomie, plantain, I spend about £30. Yeah, I spend about £30. It depends on the month. Sometimes I spend less, sometimes I spend more. So usually I spend around £20 to £30 when it comes to like buying things from African store. The next thing I spend my money on is Apple Music. So when it comes to Apple Music, I use the student plan. If you're a student, make sure you're using the student plan, because for the student plan you pay about £4 every month. But if you're not using the student plan, you'll be paying about £9. So you see, that's like divided by 2 of the money. So make sure you're on the student plan when it comes to Apple Music, and that is how much I spend when it comes to Apple Music. Okay, so the next thing is eating out, you guys. I love to eat out. I won't even lie, I really love to eat out. So when it comes to eating out, I'm really trying on cutting down on, how many times I order food or how many times I go to restaurants to buy food. Right now, the number of times I order food in a month is around 3 or 4 times every month. I think that's good. That's fair enough. So yes, these are the number of times I order food every month, including whenever I go out to restaurants to eat. Yeah, so in a month, 3 to 4 is fine for me. I think I do it like every week. I just try to reward myself. So whenever I order food, usually because I don't know what to cook that day, or maybe I just see a notification from Uber Eats that there is a discount for a particular restaurant or for different restaurants, and when there's a discount, that means the food will be cheaper, and I just go to the restaurant and order. So yeah, these are the times I order food online. So when it comes to ordering food, I spend about £55 every month. That includes ordering food and also the times where I dress up and go to restaurants. Usually whenever I go to restaurants, like dress up and all that, whenever I go to restaurants, I spend about £20. Sometimes I spend £15, but most times I spend about £20 whenever I go to restaurants to order food. So yeah, this is how much I spend for eating out. Some months they are lower, yes, but some months they are higher, but like this is the average, guys. Yeah, this is the average on how much I spend whenever I go to restaurants to eat. So the next thing I spend my money on is having my hair done, braids. Guys, a girl has to look good, you have to take care of yourself. So yes, I spend money on making my hair. As you already know, making hair here in the UK is expensive, especially when you want to have braids on. So making hair here is expensive, but usually I have like Ghana weaving on, because guys, I figured that Ghana weaving is actually very easy to lose. Because if I end up making like all those very 1 million braids kind of hairstyle, who's going to help me and lose my hair? Those are the things I consider whenever I go to make my hair. So I try to make hairstyles that are easy for me to lose, because I cannot be paying somebody to lose my hair for me. Not in this UK, it's not gonna happen. So yes, making hair is something else I spend my money on. Fortunately for me, I know someone who braids, so I don't really pay like the amount they pay in salons. So on an average, I pay about £30 to have my braids done. Yeah, like normal Ghana weaving, like all those styles you'll be seeing me on. Yeah, on average, I spend about £30 to make my hair. So the last thing on my list, I just decided to summarize this one and target shopping. So whenever I have to get things from like Amazon, or whenever I have to get like clothes, jackets, different things from Zara, from H&M, from Pretty Little Thing, all those things, when you see all those fine things. And the thing is, most of the time all these places have discounts online, especially Pretty Little Thing. So yes, in a month I tend to buy like new things every month. I mean, you just have to make yourself happy. So I tend to buy like new things every month, and in average I spend about £150 to £200 every month. Yeah, that's how much I spend. Sometimes it's lower than that, but That's like the average on how much I spend every month when it comes to shopping. So yes, I spend about 150, let me just say 200 pounds. I spend about 200 pounds when it comes to shopping from Amazon, Zara, buying clothes and different things. I think that's basically it. What I have listed here is my personal expenses. Yours might be higher, yours might be lower. It varies. Like, you cannot have the same thing with somebody. I mean, we are all different individuals. So in total, the amount of money I spend every month is about 1,077 pounds, and if you convert that to naira, that's about 600,000 naira every month. Yeah, so using bank rates though, using bank rates. In case you're in the UK and you're an international student, maybe you can give like a summary on how much you spend in the comment section down below. I also have a UK guide playlist. I'll be leaving that on the screen, so make sure you check that out in case you're looking for a guide or answers to any of your questions. Check that playlist out. I'll definitely have a video for you there. So yes, we have come to the end of this video. Please do not forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll be seeing you in my next video. Bye guys.